this is Dr. and welcome to the Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Monday, May 5th. So if you're a Star Wars fan, happy Revenge of the 5th. Or if you guys celebrate Revenge of the 6th, that's tomorrow. I don't know.
Or
whatever you
Happy
guys want
Cinco
to
de Mayo.
Or Happy Cinco de Mayo. And for tonight, I'll be reviewing Monday Night Raw, the Go Home Show to Backlash, but I'm not alone. Joining me for this is none other than Michael 101 by now.
How you doing, guys? Thank you, Datila, once again for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure having you on. All right, so tonight's Raw was the Go Home Show to Backlash, and you know how I feel about Go Home shows. But I've always felt that the purpose of a Go Home show is to make you excited for the pay-per-view. If it gets you excited, it gets you hyped. Like, if you haven't watched Raw for weeks, you're supposed to tune in tonight and be like, oh, Backlash is excited, let me fucking tune in. Yeah. I'm going to watch regardless, but the Go Home show should get you excited. If it doesn't, then it doesn't do its job. So let's get into it.
There you go.
So Monday Night Raw kicked off with the Jey Uso segment. Honestly, I have to say this was actually a really good opening segment. Even though it was your run-of-the-mill opening segment setting up the main event, I actually really like this. I think Paul Heyman's promo was actually really good. He brought up a lot of good points. He did bring up the fact that when Roman Reigns returned, it wasn't to defend Paul Heyman's honor. It was for the Ula Fall line. So he's absolutely correct.
Yeah, because that's the only reason why he wanted to get back to Ula Fala.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he didn't come back for Paul Heyman. He came back for the Ula Fala.
And can we just say this, like when he was delivering that promo, this is classic Heyman, like the classic Heyman that we haven't seen in a while. That he delivered this promo.
Yeah, for sure. I will say the one thing about this is that Paul Heyman was a little too tense. It was kind of distracting. Couldn't really focus as to what he was saying because I was too focused on the fact that his face did not match the rest of his body.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, like when he was like doing that shouting like that, he was actually sweating after. I was like, oh, is he gonna be all right? Hopefully, he doesn't collapse in the ring.
Right. But I do think that Paul Heyman made some excellent points during this promo. It was actually really good. Like, this was probably the best part of Raw, this opening segment.
I agree.
At the end, he basically tricks Jey Uso into giving Seth Rollins a match for the world title, and Jey Uso says it'll happen tonight. And then backstage, he talks to Rollins and he talks to Braun Breaker, and basically he tells Braun Breaker that since Seth pinned Roman, he should get a title opportunity, and says that Jey isn't focused on Seth Rollins, and that tonight they get the keys to the kingdom. So this was a really great opening sequence.
Yeah, I agree. And you have your whole 5-7 minute of yeeting, as always.
Mm-hmm. So next we get Penta y Cero Miedo versus JD McDonough. And I thought this was a good match. I'm really happy that Penta got the win here because I was not expecting him to get the win, especially with Judgment Day outside. But yeah, good match. Even though Chad Gable tried to get involved, it backfired. He hit the Mexican Destroyer and Penta was victorious. So this is a good match. I'm not entirely sure where they're going with this whole Penta Judgment Day feud, considering his brother Rey Fenix is on SmackDown. So it doesn't seem like they have plans to reunite the Lucha Brothers.
Not until the draft.
Probably.
But it was a good match, though.
It was.
A lot of back and forth action between Penta and McDonough. Chad Gable, of course, he's got to be out there because he's so, interested in luchador stuff. We all know that he's El Grande Americano. That whole stupid story.
I actually really like it. I think it's hilarious.
No, it's awful. It reminds me of Hulk Hogan 2002 when he was Mr. America. It's that all over again, but much worse.
I like it. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's hilarious.
Agree to disagree.
All right. So next we get an 8 Down Under segment, and they're basically arguing about what happened last week. And Grayson Waller pretty much tricks Austin Theory into a singles match. He doesn't say against two. And we find out it's against Sheamus, who we haven't seen since the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
we haven't seen since the Royal Rumble, and this is a pretty good match. But I feel like they've been teasing the break. They've teased and stopped the tease of the breakup of 8 Town Down Under. So like, if you're gonna break them up, like just break them up.
Year.
Yeah, since like last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
they've been
last year. Like they teased it, like they were gonna break them up, and then they put that on hold. They teased it again, put it back on hold, and now they're doing it all over again.
Like, I thought they were gonna break up after they lost the tag titles, and that didn't happen. So it's like I don't know. It's like they start teased and they stopped and they start them again. So it's like, just make up your mind.
Stalled.
Like, you're either gonna break them up or you don't.
Yeah, they stalled.
But what would you think of this match?
I thought it was a good match. Sheamus coming back was good. Sheamus never has a bad match. He always puts on banger matches, and this match was a banger. Of course.
Banger after banger. I'm hoping that now that the IC title is off of Braun Breaker, maybe Sheamus can chase the IC title again. Only this time he should win the IC title.
I agree. Have Sheamus be back in the Continental Championship picture.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, like at the end, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory had like a little argument. So this is once again teasing us that they're going to be breaking them up, and hopefully it's official and they don't stall again.
Yeah, hopefully. Long-term storytelling, though, right?
Long-term booking.
All right, next we get a different day segment, and basically JD's asking like, what happened? Why was Chad Gable out there? Like, but the funny part that I liked about this was AJ Styles comes in and they were like, how did you get in here? And he's like, oh, R-Truth told me.
But R-Truth's on SmackDown.
That doesn't mean they can talk.
Yeah.
You know? So and I like one of the things that I noticed, just like with 8 Town Down Under, it seems like they're still teasing Finn Balor leaving Judgment Day. They haven't quite pulled the trigger, but they've been teasing it for a while, especially when Dom tells Finn Balor to take care of AJ because of the history, and Balor's like, oh, what? So I have to clean up your messes now?
That sounds like a little tease there that, he's going to leave the Judgment Day. Because he's being so fed up with, Dominic and his messes.
Yeah. But I guess they've been teasing it for a while now.
But Balor's a little jealous that Dominic is the Intercontinental Champion.
For sure, especially since Dom pretty much stole the pin from him.
And Dominic is like, oh well, I don't have to be here every single week. I'm a champion, but when you're the champion, you got to be here. You got to be there every week.
Yeah, so next we get the Chad Gable New Day segment. It seems like the New Day's gonna try to stall the War Raiders by having like a match with American Made. It seems.
Yeah,
seems like that's what this was going. Yeah, so I feel like the New Day might cost the War Raiders that match.
Yeah.
Then Becky Lynch appears out of nowhere, and Woods tells her it's messed up with Lyra Ditcher, and then this leads into her cutting a promo. I did not like this promo. It was kind of like confusing. Awful. It was like, what? You're garbage? What are you talking about? This was kind of confusing for me.
Hey, let's take out Becky Lynch on the mic. That's garbage. Take out the trash. I mean, Becky is good in the ring, but she is an awful promo. Absolutely awful. You saw that promo she cut last week? Oh, my God. Made my ears want to bleed.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised they did a heel Becky here,
Heel Becky is awful. Look, they did that in the old administration when Vince was still in charge, and that was awful.
Yeah, I didn't like that version of Becky.
Just Becky suits as a babyface. Like, as a heel, she's so cringe and absolutely awful.
So next we get Roxanne Perez versus Iyo Sky. This is actually a really good match.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good match as well. Very solid women's match. Wasn't boring, but it was enjoyable.
I'll be back.
NXT superstar and Roxanne Perez, is going up against Iyo. Iyo is the women's world champion, and they're in like this feud with Roxanne Perez and Julia, which next week it's going to be confirmed. It's going to be Roxanne Perez and Julia team up with Iyo, or I'm sorry, Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley team up to take on Roxanne Perez and Julia, which I knew that it was going in that direction because they've been teasing it. If you saw last week, Rhea Ripley comes out, makes a save for Iyo, takes out Roxanne Perez and Julia. So from last week, from what we saw, I'm like, yep, at some point there's going to be a tag team match between uh, these women. So that's the case. But yeah, the match between Roxanne and Iyo was very good. Wasn't bored by it like some woman matches are if they're not booked correctly. But the crowd was really into it, and it was entertaining. And I gotta say, the crowd in Omaha tonight, I thought it was better than the crowd last week. Last week's crowd, they were just in a coma throughout the show. But the crowd reaction tonight in Omaha, Nebraska was really cool. It brought energy to the show. But we're gonna wait on Datila here, as she comes back. But what did you all think of the opening segment, and also Penta and JD McDonough? Also, what did you all think of Roxanne Perez and Iyo Sky? Let us know in the comment section. But Datila will be back. All right, guys. Back. Datila just told me to keep going. She messaged me. But before, if Datila comes back, we'll still review the show. Just want to talk about the news that came out today. Apparently, Alberto Del Rio has signed with WWE. He's going to be a WWE superstar again. My thoughts on it: I am not too crazy about that. Because of the stuff that's come out with Del Rio. We all know about the allegations and stuff that went on with him. He signed with AAA, and we all know that WWE has purchased AAA, and they're doing the whole Worlds Collide thing. So yeah, they got some superstars from AAA that are going to be part of WWE. But yeah, that's the other news that came out today. I don't know what your thoughts on Alberto Del Rio coming back to WWE, but let us know in the comments. But the other match that we had tonight on Monday Night Raw. Go to my notes here. And we also had, let's see here. Yeah, we talked about Roxanne Perez, Iyo Sky. We had the return of Rusev in ring, which was cool. Rusev, he hasn't been on WWE TV in 5 years. Of course, we all know that he went to AEW and he was, of course, Miro. And, his time in AEW, for the first points of his AEW career was good. And then Tony Khan, didn't want to book him on the show. And he was in catering. Tony Khan gave up on Miro. And I'm like, well, where's Miro? When's he going to come back on? Unfortunately, Tony Khan just left him, rotting catering. And I'm like, all right, if you're not going to use Miro, just let him go. And so, Tony Khan, AEW end up releasing him. And, Rusev is now back in the WWE. And hopefully, Lana, CJ Perry comes back with him. And I know Lana ended up signing a Legends contract. I'm like, why did you sign?
Okay, I'm back. I cannot turn my camera back on, but anywho, back to Iyo Sky. I thought this was a good match. I when Rock at the end when Roxanne Perez shook Io's hand, I'm like, okay. But then I didn't see the sneak attack coming from behind,
Yeah, I knew it was kind of a setup, because when Roxanne and Iyo shook hands as a sign of respect, I'm like, all right, Julia's, lurking somewhere. And unfortunately, that was the case. And this is going to lead to a tag team match next week on Raw, where it's going to be Iyo teaming up with Rhea to take on Roxanne Perez and Julia. And I like that Roxanne Perez and Julia are getting time on, Raw outside of NXT.
They're doing the whole can they coexist with Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley, aren't they?
Yep, as usual.
So next we have Otis versus Rusev. I guess Rusev is back as a heel, but I'm like, no, I mean, I guess it makes sense that they put him against Otis, because if you're going to make him a heel, you definitely want to put him against someone who's massively over, and Otis is over with the crowd. So Makes sense. I can't complain too much about this.
Yeah,
He won by submission with the accolade.
yeah. Rusev, when he made his return 2 weeks ago, we were all confused. Like, all right, is he a babyface or is he a heel? Because he ended up attacking, the new. He ended up attacking, I think, the New Day, and we all thought that he would be a face, but he ended up taking on Otis tonight, and this signifies Rusev as a heel. And uh, I thought Rusev was really good in the ring. It's been a while since we've seen him on TV. 'Cause like I said, when he was in AEW, he was on the sidelines. He was not doing anything, and I was like, well, if Tony Khan is not using him, just let him go. And unfortunately, that happened, and now he's back in WWE, and hopefully, they will use him properly.
Yeah, same. We can only hope that he's being used properly and not a repeat of this last run.
Yeah, and hopefully, maybe we'll see Lana back.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, and I heard that Lana signed a Legends contract. And I'm like, why? Why did you sign a Legends contract? Do we want to call Lana a legend?
I I guess everybody has their own definition. All right, next we get the Gunther and Pat McAfee segment. Honestly, I thought this was a pretty good segment. Pat McAfee knows how to cut a promo, and I think that their match is going to be good. I think it's going to surprise us.
I think it will be decent. I'm not going into it thinking that it's going to be a great match, but I know that there's going to be some back and forth action between them both. I mean, you built this feud in 2 weeks, which I wish that it would have given a little bit more build. I feel like it was kind of rushed, but I do think that it's going to be a decent match, though. I think, in my opinion, Gunther is going to win it. No chance of Pat McAfee winning the match.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely do think Gunter is winning this one. But yeah, I do agree. Had this been built properly, I think this could have been a great feud.
Yeah, this was all done in, like I said, 2 weeks, and this was just feuding because of Pat McAfee and Michael Cole's opinions on Gunther. Uh, you know, losing the title and tapping out to Jey Uso. That's pretty much what this whole feud is about.
No, yeah. All right. So the main event ended up being the world title match, Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins. Honestly, thought this was a good match, and had this been further down into Jey Uso's title reign, I definitely could have seen Seth Rollins taking it. However, because this was Jey Uso's first title defense, there was no way he was going to lose. CM Punk and Sami Zayn both get involved in this. I was
Yeah,
waiting for
and then,
Roman Reigns to come out, but Punk came out swinging with the steel chair.
yeah, I knew that Roman Reigns wasn't going to be there. Obviously, Punk was going to return and laid out Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. I think this is going to lead up to maybe
A
we get
tag team match player, holla.
yeah, holla holla holla. Yeah, it's going to lead to a tag team match. I don't see it happening at Backlash though, but
A tag team match with Punk and Roman or Punk and Zayn?
with Punk and Zayn.
I think many people were expecting it to be Punk and Roman.
Well, since it was showcased tonight, uh, I was expecting maybe, yeah, that can't happen. If they had another member, if Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker had another member, we would get a 6-man tag.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
but that's not happening.
Because it would make sense. Unless if you do Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, or like what you said, Jay and Roman, you get that. So
This is leading no matter what, though, we are getting a tag match out of this. Probably, Saturday night's main event?
What was it?
Probably at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. I can see that happening.
All right, so on a scale from
the match ended in a no contest. It didn't end in disqualification because the ref didn't ring the bell. So it went to a no contest.
Yeah. All right, so on a scale from 1 to Sean Spears' perfect 10, honestly thought this was a pretty decent Raw. Had it just been your run-of-the-mill Monday Night Raw, I probably would have given this an 8 out of 10, maybe 7.5 out of 10. But because this is a go-home show, and the go-home show, as I said at the beginning, is supposed to get you excited for the pay-per-view, want to make you tune in, I'd give this a 6 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty decent go-home show, but pretty much some stuff that happened on here, I don't even know if we're going to get a follow-up on Backlash.
Maybe we'll get a follow-up. I would rank this a 8 out of 10. I thought this was a very good show. I thought this was better than last week's Raw, which was a very mediocre show. Crowd reaction was awful last week. This week was so much better. Yeah, a lot of good matches. One match, with Otis and Rusev, it was a advancement match for Rusev to build him up. I really enjoyed the Gunther and Pat McAfee face-to-face. The opener with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. It was a good show.
Yeah, I agree with you. But like I said, as a go-home show.
Yeah, as a go-home show, it did nothing to hype us up.
Yeah, and did nothing to hype up Backlash. So where can people find you on social media?
Well, you guys can find me at my channel here, Michael101591. I do WWE reviews, Monday Night Raw every Monday, SmackDown every Friday. I have movie reviews on my channel, so check that out. I have DVD, Blu-ray, 4K updates I do, old school commercials there as well. My review of tonight's Monday Night Raw is up on my channel, so if you guys are done with this when we get off on the live stream here, go to my channel, check out my Monday Night Raw review where I go in depth of the show, talk about the matches, move to move in the matches. So, check out my channel, and Datila pops up there from time to time. And I do a podcast called the Bell Call Podcast where I talk about wrestling news with my buddy Noah Kaser. We do it every 2 weeks on Wednesday. So if you're a fan of pro wrestling, come over to my channel and give me a subscribe.
Yeah, Michael has a pretty cool channel. You should feel, guys, make sure you subscribe to his channel.
Thank you, Datila. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, as for yours truly, you can find me on Twitter at Datila_. I talk Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, TNA Impact. I go live, or I try to go live on my channel every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, occasional Saturdays and Sundays. And of course, for all things TNA, you catch me on Body Slam every Thursday. Thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you can notify whenever I go live or you can see a video. And hope to see you guys Wednesday after Dynamite. Bye.
Bye, guys.